You know, I love it when NPCs argue comics and earnings, desperate to shill a market that they themselves have harmed. I mean, take last year, for example. Cue flashback. Woo! They'll produce a statement like this from Diamond Distribution. Annual comic book sales in the comic book specialty market increased in 2019 by nearly 4% over 2018, while graphic novel sales declined by 2% for an overall increase in print over the previous year by 2.23%. Then that'll be followed by, but Tug, you don't get it. Comic books, they made money in 2019. You know, right before they say something like social justice, comic books have always been about that. And just like they'll ignore modern comics' lack of subtlety and the fact that they'll land like a bludgeon to the head, they'll also ignore the entirety of the number equation and how exactly we got to that so-called profit. Hey there, so today I want to return to that wonderful world of numbers to talk about the comic book equation in 2019 so we can close the chapter on yet another down year. Now, we've talked about some of this stuff before too, but we haven't had the entirety of this equation before, so let's get in here and let's check it out and some of the reasons why. Also note that these are tracked by Diamond, a distributor to specialty stores or comic book shops, so we don't know how many comic books end up in the hands of actual consumers. Now, the first thing to understand about comics is the who's who in it, or what companies make up the top publishers. So this is the list for 2019. You'll notice it's broken up into two sections: retail market share, unit market share, or dollars and how many items are actually created. You'll notice Marvel and DC, they make up the top two. Image, they come in at number 3, and Boom, and then IDW. IDW used to be solid number 4, and Image, they used to have 10% of the market share, but that has fallen off quite a bit. Now, when it comes to comparative sales statistics, the only category that truly matters is year-to-date versus year-to-date. So 2019 versus 2018. When they say comics, they're talking about single issues. And if you notice the dollars, they're up 4.10%, and units, they're down negative 1.42%. Third year in a row, demand has gone down. So what you have is demand lowering, but earnings going up, meaning, well, we'll look at what that means. Now, when you look at graphic novels, numbers are down across the board, again, for a third year in a row. Negative 3.21% in dollars, and units are negative 8.65%, for a total across the board of dollars up by 2% and units down by about 2%. So how do you have languishing interest and still show profit? Well, you rely on gimmicks and eternal reboots while raising prices to all-time highs. If you look at this list for the top 10 comic books of 2019, number 1, number 2, and number 7 are quote-unquote milestones. Number 7 actually cheats the milestones because Marvel Comics 1000, that's the 1000th comic book that Marvel put out. It's not like the number 1 spot where you actually had 1,000 editions. In the number 1 spot, you move 600,000 units as well at a $10 price tag. Number 2, Spawn 300, it moved hundreds of thousands of units at an $8 price tag, and number 7, it does the same at another $10 price tag. Then you look at the number 1s, and what you'll notice about all of these, the lowest price that you see in comics now is $3.99. Number 5 actually hits that. Everything else, because they're number 1s, they sell a lot to the comic book shops because they have so many covers out there, and they sell at $5 to $6 a pop. So of course you make money, but comic book shops, they end up closing at record numbers. Now, something that truly highlights this disparity in interest is the 2019 top 10 graphic novels and trade paperbacks. In fact, when you look at this, keep up with how many of these are actually from 2019. Number 1, Watchmen, still selling after 35 years, and nothing from 2019 can rank above it. Number 2, Saga, the same thing. You're talking about an older commodity that holds its own here. And another thing that's telling, number 2 is nowhere to be found on the list. Number 3, same thing. You have an older commodity here, and you don't have a second edition listed in that because, again, interest from Netflix, but interest only carries series so far. Monstrous is the same thing. And one of the things you'll notice from image titles, $9.99 price tags, that definitely does hold a lot of interest too. That is an older commodity. Mr. Miracle, we're finally getting to something that's more modern. Look, we only get there after half of the list is gone. Die Volume 1, same thing. I mean, you're getting to something that's kind of newer here, but how long does it take? Then we get into the Batmans and the Walking Dead. The Walking Dead has always been a commodity that has moved graphic novels. We're not going to see that much of it anymore now that the series has ended. And when you look at the Batmans here, you have White Knight and you have Damned, which you do expect there, but then you have The Killing Joke at number 9. Again, you're talking about an aged commodity because nothing in 2019 can truly hold their own and make up this entire list. So when NPCs say, but Tug, you don't get it. Comics made money in 2019. I just laugh and I think, wrecked. You know why? Because that's what the industry is. The industry, it's wrecked, and it's wrecked because of these folks. Closing, if you like this kind of content, you want to help the channel out, consider subscribing to it and sharing the videos. And thank you for your time. I appreciate that. You make endeavors possible. These folks, they forgot that. Woe be it unto them. Don't want to be like that and don't want to monopolize your time. So let me just say thank you. I appreciate you, and we'll be doing this again soon. Hope you can join us then.